Hello y'all! Welcome back to another video dedicated to help you break out of any toxic behaviors or patterns in your relationship or personal life. I'm Coach Jeanette from @Jeanette.xzero on TikTok and Instagram, and if you're interested in anything personal growth or relationships, make sure that you hit subscribe and join the tribe. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about healthy boundaries and how to stop being scared for asking for what you want and what you need. For those of y'all who don't know what boundaries are, it's essentially how you define where one person begins and another person ends. And in a way, your boundaries help teach the other person how you want to be treated. And all healthy relationships have boundaries because you don't want to be a doormat in the relationship having people disrespect you. Now, there are different types of boundaries in a relationship, but we're not going to get into the specifics of boundaries, rather more generalized. If you do want to know the specifics, make sure that you like and comment below so that I know to make another video. But as for now, let's get into the general idea of what boundaries are and the difference between healthy boundaries and unhealthy boundaries. Now, if you've never learned how to set healthy boundaries before, you probably attempt to do so by setting unhealthy boundaries. And this can sound like, come on, if you don't go, then I'm not gonna go. You know, I didn't get anything done today because I was waiting for you to call me. It's your fault I feel this way. I want to talk to you, but obviously you have better things to do that are more important. You have to answer your phone right away or I'm gonna freak out. If you don't do this for me, I'm not gonna forgive you. Now, if you said any of the following phrases before, I hear you, feel you, and I've been there before. It's easy to justify those phrases because it comes from a place of wanting to protect yourself and wanting to get things done. But the truth is, healthy boundaries are not passive aggressive and they don't hold guilt or shame. Rather, they come from a place of compassion, understanding, love, and respect. But if you've never been modeled healthy boundaries before, you probably don't have a good relationship communicating what you want and need. You might even be a people pleaser, fear confrontation, or have extremely rigid boundaries. The biggest pattern I see if we don't have healthy boundaries is having resentment build up instead. And I myself used to be guilty of this pattern as well, and this is how it looks. All right, I'm going to draw it out for you. Number one, your boundary gets violated and you feel annoyed, right? You feel disrespected, you feel frustrated. Now, there's two things that you can do. Number one, confront it to the person, set that rigid boundary or set that healthy boundary. Or two, you go ahead and withdraw, ignore it, tell yourself it's not a big deal and that you'll get over it. And then after a while, that boundary gets violated over and over again. And what ends up happening is that resentment starts to build up. You get annoyed, you get frustrated, you get angry. You start to tell yourself, why doesn't this person get it? Why do they keep disrespecting me? But the truth is, you've never told them what you like and dislike about their behavior towards you in the first place. So how are they supposed to know that that's something that you're gonna get frustrated over, right? And so because we didn't set that boundary, what ends up happening is that that resentment builds up so much that we either do two things. We withdraw because we can't take it no more and we don't want to confront them and we don't know how to handle these emotions, and you tell yourself that I just need space from them. Or number two, you blow up. That one little thing triggers you and you start to blow up and you yell at them, you take out all your anger, pain, frustration on them, and they get confused because they didn't know that they were bothering you in the first place. And so this cycle continues to fuel itself because after you blow up or after you give yourself space, you start feeling this guilt because you tell yourself, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have blown up on them, or I shouldn't have gave myself so much space. What if they're angry because I didn't talk to them all of a sudden and I ghosted them? Then to soothe that guilt, you start to overcompensate. You start apologizing to them. I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna do that again. You start people pleasing, you start being extremely nice, and then they start violating your boundary again because they didn't know that you did something wrong. And then that overcompensation starts turning into more resentment, and the cycle continues to fuel itself until you're done with it. So there's either two things that you can do here. To stop that cycle, we need to be able to communicate clearly what we want and what we need so that resentment doesn't build up and store this cycle over and over again, which makes you self-sabotage your relationships. And number two, you need to be able to feel comfortable not just setting that boundary, but sticking to it and not caving in when you do set that boundary. Because it's really easy to go ahead and set that boundary and then tell yourself, I feel really guilty, maybe I shouldn't have set that, maybe they hate me, so I should not set that boundary and I should pull them back. No, you shouldn't be able to do that. You should be sticking to whatever you told yourself that is the boundary, that is the consequence, and then leading with it. But how do we do that? How do we set our boundaries without feeling so scared or feeling so guilty, questioning whether or not we actually did the right thing? Because it can feel so hard to set boundaries, especially if they're unfamiliar. And to be completely transparent, I myself still struggle sometimes to set healthy boundaries because it's a process. But there are 3 things that helped me tremendously when it came down to healthy communication. And I'm sure that these 3 mindset shifts will help you set boundaries as well and make you feel less scared. Now, the first shift that I needed to make is understand that boundaries and asking for what you want and what you need is not selfish. If growing up, whenever you asked for something that you needed or wanted and you were constantly shut down, maybe hearing things like, stop being selfish, I give you food to eat, I give you a place to stay, you don't even know what stress is, I've had it worse than you, then you're going to learn that you deserve the bare minimum and that you're selfish whenever you ask for more. But the truth is, it's not selfish or needy to ask for what you need and want. It's not selfish to ask for love, affection, kindness, effort, trust, loyalty, or even respect, because those are the bare minimum. The second mindset shift that will help you be fearless in setting boundaries is understanding that setting boundaries does not push the other person away. Rather, it helps you build authentic relationships. A lot of times we prevent ourselves from setting healthy boundaries because we think that it means it's pushing the other person away, but that can be further from the truth. Because when you're setting boundaries, you're teaching the other person how you want to be treated, and you're teaching them what you like and what you dislike. And in contrast, when you're not setting boundaries, you're putting up this facade of yourself, leaving the other person not knowing who you truly are. They don't really know what you like and dislike, and they don't know if they're treating you the way that you want to be treated. And so in order to build a healthy, loving, and trusting relationship, we want to be authentically ourselves, which means setting our boundaries and teaching the other person how we want to be treated. Now, the last thing that will help you step into vulnerability is knowing that if and when you set your boundaries, the only people that disrespect your boundaries are the people that are benefiting from you not having them in the first place. Because without boundaries, you don't really know who your true friend is or who your fake friend is, because they're still leeching off of you and taking advantage of you because they know that you're not going to call them out on their BS. But when you call them out on their BS, the real friends are going to respect it, and the fake ones are going to get mad and blame you. And of course, if you haven't set boundaries with them before, they might need some time to warm up to it and adjust to it. Because at the end of the day, it's unfamiliar and they're still learning this new pattern of relationship that you want to form with them. So you can just let them know, hey, I'm practicing setting boundaries right now, and I would really hope that you can respect it and just hold me accountable as I try to set them as well. We want to give them 1 or 2 chances if they get defensive, because we all make mistakes and we're all human. But if after 2 tries and they're still disrespecting you, that's when you know it's a pattern, and when there's a pattern, it's a choice. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be around people who are choosing to disrespect me even after they know that that is something I do not tolerate. Now, that is it for today's video, and I hope that it will help you get started in setting healthy boundaries and stepping into vulnerability. And if you want to know what healthy boundaries look like and how to properly communicate them, make sure that you hit the like button down below. If you're looking for more one-on-one guidance and ending the cycle of toxic relationships and learning how to healthily communicate, make sure that you message me on Instagram for a private consultation. Lastly, if you're looking for a loving, supportive community during your healing journey at this time, make sure that you join our Facebook group. All the links will be in the description box below. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe down below, and as always, you got this.